This is episode 40, and today we will look at the fourth and final sentence structure, which is the compound complex sentence. Now, this sentence structure has to have 3 or more clauses. There's it, a compound complex sentence has 3 or more clauses. 2 of these are main clauses and 1 is a subordinate clause. In other words, it has to contain at least 1 coordinating conjunction and 1 subordinating conjunction. But let's unravel that a little bit further. Okay. So we have looked at the compound sentence and we saw how a compound sentence joined 2 or more main or independent clauses using a coordinating conjunction. Now, an example we looked at is this one here. I ran to the trains, but I was too late. So in this sentence, I ran to the train was one main clause, I was too late was another main clause, and but was our coordinating conjunction. And you may remember that but is a coordinating conjunction because it's one of the conjunctions that comes with the acronym FANBOYS. So if we remember what those coordinating conjunctions were, coming under FANBOYS, there's the acronym down there, we have for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. So anytime you see a conjunction like this, you know that it's a coordinating conjunction and therefore the clause on each side of this conjunction is a main clause. And a compound sentence has 1 or more of these coordinating conjunctions or 2 or more main clauses. Now we also looked at the complex sentence and see how they have 1 main and 1 independent clause or 1 or more subordinate or dependent clauses and a subordinating conjunction. So in this example we looked at, she ran until her legs hurt. We saw that the clause until her legs hurt was in and of itself couldn't stand alone. It was an adverbial, a clausal adverbial giving information about when she ran or until when she ran. So in this instance, until is a subordinating conjunction, and in all my examples on that video I only use subordinating conjunctions, although there are other means to create. Now the compound complex sentence combines these 2 methods of relating clauses, and I think the best way to see this is to show you some examples. So let's do that now. Okay, so he opened the door and jumped on quickly as the train announced its departure. Well, here we have a compound complex sentence, but how do I know? Well, the best way to find the relationships is methodically and systematically, as we have done in the previous videos. So firstly, we'll look for the verbs. We have opened, jumped, announced. There's our 3 verbs. And for each verb we then look for its related subject. So who opened the door? He opened the door. Who jumped? Oops, there is no he here, but we did talk about in our compound sentence video that the subject can be shared between the 2 clauses, and this is called elision. And so we will just imagine that he jumped. I'll put a little he in brackets, and that's perfectly acceptable as the subject. And the announced, what announced? Well, the train announced its departure. Okay, so the next thing we do is find the conjunctions between these 3 verbs. We have and we have as. Okay, and we know from our FANBOYS acronym that and is a coordinating conjunction, and that as, not being part of that, is a subordinating conjunction. So we have 1 main clause, another main clause, and a subordinate clause with 1 coordinating conjunction and 1 subordinating conjunction. So that is a compound complex sentence. Let's have a look at one more example. She couldn't see the fish when it was swimming in the water, so it gave her a surprise when it jumped out onto the edge of the bowl. All right, so first of all, step one, we find the verbs, or let's go. So couldn't see is our first verb. Was swimming is a verb. Gave is a verb. Jumped is a verb. So there are 4 verbs in this sentence. So let's see if we can find the subjects. We have she. She couldn't see the fish when it was swimming in the water. It is a new subject here, and it is the subject once again. Okay, so here are our subjects. And now finally we look for the conjunctions. Well, the first one here is when. We have so, and then we have another when. So I know that so is a coordinating conjunction because it's part of fanboy. It's for, and, nor, yet, or, but, so. Okay, yep, so is a coordinating conjunction. So there we have a coordinating conjunction. But we know that when is not one of those. It's giving us information about when she couldn't see the fish and when she got a surprise. So it's giving this adverbial information. It is not able to stand alone when it was swimming in the water. Feels like an incomplete sentence. So in both these instances, when is a subordinating conjunction. So we have she couldn't see the fish, which is main clause. When it was swimming in the water is a subordinate clause. So it gave her a surprise, which is another main clause. And then when it jumped out onto the edge of the bowl, which is a subordinate clause. So this is a compound complex sentence because it has at least one coordinating conjunction and one subordinating conjunction. All right, so now we just get a quick overview of the different sentence structures that we have looked at as a summary. So we have 4 different sentence structures. We have the simple sentence, which is one main clause. We have the compound sentence, which is made up of 2 or more main clauses and includes a coordinating conjunction. We have the complex sentence, which is 2 or more main clauses, 2 or more clauses, one main, one subordinate, and that has a subordinating conjunction. And then we have the compound complex sentence, which has 3 or more clauses, at least 2 main and 1 subordinate, and it has to have at least 1 coordinating conjunction and 1 subordinating conjunction. And then we have our 4 different sentence structures. Okay, now that we know that and those sentence structures, we're ready now to move on to the sentence types or the sentence functions. And there are also 4 of those. And we're going to look at the first one in our next video. And this first one we're going to look at is the declarative sentence. Okay, so until then, thanks for watching The Language Code.